All right, all right. Welcome to Birds Fly South. How's everybody doing tonight?
Just trying to win a Super Bowl, man. Just trying to win a Super Bowl. Okay.
One day at a time.
One day at a time.
I think Ruth is muted.
King, are you there?
Yeah, Ruth is muted.
I muted myself on accident. One playoff game at a time.
Yo, what's going on? It's the Birds Fly South podcast. I'm your host with the most. I'm King. With my other half, my guy, BG31. Got a special guest with us is my man, my big brother, my man that taught me so much. It is always dear to my heart. Eagle Sessions, Gail Saunders in the building. Then we also have the Tampa Bay side of there. We got Ruth The Truth, aka how you want me to say it? You did a lot. You was doing the most with the most.
Ruth Yes, aka Ruth The Truth.
Y'all heard what you said, and then we got the man with the wisdom. You know, you see the gray hairs on the chin. Ren, the Dex. Holla at your boy, yo. Thank you for tuning in to Birds Fly South podcast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got a big playoff matchup here. It's gonna be great.
We chain all day. We here, baby. What's going on? We here all day, baby.
So, both of you guys, welcome to the show, guys. You know, go ahead and let everybody know what platform you guys are on, and let everybody know where they can find you guys at.
Go ahead, Ruth.
I just signed with a new network called NSPN. We focus on international sports. I live in Tampa, Florida. I cover the Buccaneers for NSPN. I just started my own network called Beauty in the Cleats as well with my partner, the Tampa Sports Bay. I'm doing a little bit of writing, a little podcasting, a little bit of everything. And yeah, just keep up with me. Follow me on Twitter at Ruth The Truth. And you can also find me on Instagram as well. I like to go Instagram live, just get things off my chest. It's Ruth_the_truth1, the number 1. So follow me and I'll give you a follow back. But thanks for having me.
No problem.
Ren Dax, as it says below, I am one of the co-hosts of the Pewtercast that has been around for 6 years. When we first started podcasting about the Buccaneers, there was 6. Now there's 72 different Buccaneers podcasts. But we've been fortunate enough, to get passes to training camp and be able to be in the scrums and ask the coaches and the players stuff. So, like I said, it's our 6th year covering it. We go 3 times a week. We go directly after the game. Hits 000. We go live on YouTube, and then we do a show sort of like this where we bring in usually a media member from the other side. And then on Friday, we just kind of wrap everything up and then, give our predictions and stuff like that. So, again, just like Ruth, thanks for inviting me. And I'm ready for some very, how should I put this, biased opinions on how the Eagles are actually going to win this game.
Yes, sir. You know it. And my boy, Big Gail.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Gail Saunders, co-founder of 4th and John. We've been this crazy Eagle podcast for going on 6 years. You know us as a crazy tailgate, energetic, passionate Eagle fans that love to travel. We do, we're crazy in the off season. It's a 365-day thing with us. But Gail Saunders here, ready to talk about the Eagles. Let go.
Let go. All right, guys. So this matchup, it is a replay of earlier this season. Week 6? I think it was it week 6 or week 7?
No idea.
I think it was week 6.
Week 6.
It was for sure week 6. It was a Thursday night game on week 6.
Yeah. Both teams are different. You guys want to talk about your injury and how that's going to affect the game today? This Sunday?
Go ahead, Ruth.
I actually have an updated injury report that was sent by the Bucs communications department. Shout out to them. It's pretty extensive. We have 14 different players right now for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the injury report. But we got some good news because we got Shaquille Barrett, who is going to be returning hopefully against the Philadelphia Eagles, as well as Levante David, which were key pieces that were missing. Giovanni Bernard also has been activated from the injury reserve list, and Jamel Dean was also seen at practice today. as well, which is good because it seems like we're maybe getting healthy at the right time. But yeah, the list goes on and on. We still got Sean Murphy Bunting on there, Bashard Perriman, who caught that outstanding pass in that overtime win against the Buffalo Bills. Jason Pierre-Paul is still also on that injury reserve list, but is limited in practice. And Keyshawn Vaughn was a full participant, which is some good news. But you guys have 12 people on your injury list right now as well, including Miles Sanders, who I know was a big blow, and Jalen Hurts is actually on there with an ankle injury and was limited in practice. So a lot of injuries going into this playoff game. It always seems to be whoever has the best chance when it comes to playoff time is whoever can be healthiest at the right time. So I'm hoping the Bucks can have some supporting cast returning, so it could be a pretty good game, 1:00 game this coming Sunday.
Nice. Yeah, I know Jalen's been nursing that ankle injury for a while now.
But y'all are lucky that he didn't get crushed in Washington, because it could have been a hell of a lot worse.
A friend of ours is one of the guys that almost landed on him.
Really?
Yeah, he landed like right in his lap, and then he gave him his gloves. So, true gentleman, true athlete as well, because all those people just fell, and he, the elusiveness was definitely.
Yeah, like he was in
there.
the pocket. It was a nice little sidestep.
Yeah, I mean, he's an athlete, and then he made sure everybody was good after.
Yeah, and he also wrote a statement to the NFL and to the Washington football team, and I'm hoping that he was able to get maybe those people some free tickets or something like that. But it does not surprise me, because I was at FedEx Field a couple weeks ago when the Cowboys visited Washington, and that stadium needs some work. Dan Snyder, I'm putting you on the spot. All the money in the world that you got, and you have seats in the VIP section that's peeling apart, and the place kind of smells like urine. And I don't understand how an NFL team that is pulling in that much money cannot not pay attention to how bad their stadium is getting. Even in the club levels, like it was ridiculous. They have seats that are almost peeling completely apart. So it was an embarrassment. So when I saw the issue with Jalen Hurts go down, when the whole thing fell and could have crushed him, as well as those 6 people that were on top of it did not surprise me at all.
Yeah, to piggyback off what Ruth was saying about the injuries, everybody's going to be good to go except for the obvious ones. Chris Godwin, of course, the slot receiver who does a lot for the Buccaneers. A lot of the dirty work, they like to say, the national media like to say, they put him in the slot. He blocks for the run game really well. He's sort of a mismatch in that spot. You don't even try covering with a linebacker or a safety. So he always gets matched up against a nickel corner. So it's usually your third best corner, which makes it a really good matchup for him. But he's gone. Blew his knee out in the Saints game. Of course, the Antonio Brown thing, which no one wants to rehash anymore. As far as Bucs fans goes, I don't know how you guys feel about it. But we're over it. We don't care. But they went out and put up 41 against the Panthers, and I know, they're, a top 5, draft team, and they're not the Eagles. But, the offense just chugs along with Tom Brady back there. But as Ruth said, JPP, Levante David, who's been missing for a few weeks, who Devin White, the other inside linebacker next to him, seems to really struggle when Levante's not there, or at least not have as good as games as far as the filling up the stat box. Some of it has to do with him having more responsibilities in coverage, or having to cover for an aging and slower Kevin Minter athletically in the middle. But when Levante David's there, Devin White's just sort of a different player. So getting him back will be big for the Bucs. And the banged up secondary, she talked about Sean Murphy Bunting and Jamel Dean. Looks like they're going to be a go. So it might be the healthiest the Bucs have been since week 2. Even, at least overall, even with missing someone like Godwin and the jettison of Antonio Brown.
I think for the Eagles, just a lot of guys that were on the COVID list. I think it's a perfect opportunity. All those guys are coming back. I think you talk about Jalen Hurts getting that extra week of rest. That ankle was an issue for a little bit, but I think Sirianni spoke to the hopefulness of the idea of Miles Sanders coming back and Jordan Howard, talking about having that full stable intact. That would be amazing for a team that loves to run the ball. you'd love to have Miles Sanders back, and Jordan Howard. That 1-2 punch has been pretty amazing. But then you have guys like Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott who've been tremendous. But overall, I think the team has gotten healthy at the right time. If you talk about the whole team as a roster, the 3 starters that they've missed, Brandon Brooks, Isaac Suamalo, and who else was Brandon Graham. Other than that, we have all our starters in place. The biggest difference, our tight end one now is Dallas Goedert. So he missed that last game. So hopefully they bring their end game. So
yeah, man. I wanted to ask you guys, how did you guys feel about that whole Antonio Brown thing? And how big of an impact do you think he'll be for your team?
he just said he don't want to talk about it, man.
I know if you guys want to talk about it, go ahead. I'm sure Ruth seems to be very animated on all subjects, so I'll let her go first, and I'll probably just end up saying ditto. But yeah, please.
Ditto. I mean, I'm kind of exhausted with the AB conversation. I did not like him coming to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the first place. I was completely shocked because Bruce Arians, the head coach for the Bucs, was very vocal about him not wanting Antonio Brown to be a part of this roster as he dealt with some issues while he was an assistant with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He didn't want that drama, and somehow Tom Brady was able to convince him. And I mean, it kind of seemed like maybe he had his stuff together slightly. I don't know. It kind of seems like the incident that happened last season where he got into an argument and a dispute with the homeowners association at the gate of his neighborhood after he moved out of Tom Brady's house. And that seemed like it kind of got swept under the rug, but I kind of thought that was a big deal because, I mean, he was kind of being crazy and broke a camera system. And obviously when this man doesn't get his way, he throws a complete fit like he's a child. So I was not excited about the Antonio Brown signing in Tampa. But, I mean, they were able to get their Super Bowl ring. They wanted a tough roster, so bringing AB, one of the most greatest wide receivers to ever play the game, was a smart move when it came to that. And it was awesome that they were able to keep him intact after winning the Super Bowl. But I knew eventually that egotistical maniac, something was going to come up. And there's all this back and forth of whether or not Bruce Arians ignored that he had an ankle injury and that's why he didn't want to get put in the game, or whether or not Bruce Arians gave him a cutthroat symbol telling him he was cut and telling him to get the heck out of there. I don't know. There's a lot of different stories, but after watching the podcast that he went on, the Full Send podcast, and he was on that for about an hour and 45 minutes, throwing everybody under the bus, talking bad about Brady, who was always the person to have his back and gave him the opportunity in Tampa because he would not be in Tampa if it wasn't for Brady. That was really disheartening to watch and to listen to. And it just kind of made me believe Bruce Arians' story over his with, they don't care about my injury and all that kind of stuff. So at the end of the day, I wish him the best. Let God be with him. But I think AB in the NFL is just toxic. You know, that ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend that always finds their way back, and it's just that person is really toxic for you. I think the NFL is toxic for Antonio Brown because it seems like the more clout that he gets, the worse his ego is, and it doesn't really seem he's like about the team as much as he wants to say he is. He's just very I don't know. I can't say anything more than let God be with him, and I really pray that he does not come back to the NFL. And I thought it was funny how he laughed and insulted the person that reached out to him about joining the how do you say it? The AIFA, the American Indoor Football Alliance, how he talked trash about that. But that might be the only outlet that you have if your rapping career doesn't work out. So I wish the best of luck to AB. Thank you for helping us win a championship, but it's time for you to get the heck on.
Ooh, move on.
I do not pray for Antonio Brown. And the simplest way I can put it is the guy's a sociopath. He just is. And his behavior has proven that over and over and over again. And, and Ruth summed it up very well. It was going to happen. We all knew it was going to happen. You can't, a guy with that kind of track record, with that kind of volatility, like it just doesn't change in a day. And I understand that he's trying. You can see him trying in some interviews. He'll kind of like snap a little bit and then pull back and go, well, I'm just trying to sit here. I want to keep it on football. Staying humbled and sitting before you as a man, and then he'll go off on a tirade again. So he has some. We like to say inner demons, but he just really can't help himself. He doesn't think the rules apply to him, and he's pretty a classic dictionary definition of a sociopath.
I mean, the fact that he was in that podcast, just like airing dirty laundry, and just kind of like putting his teammates, just throwing them under the bus. Tom Brady had to like co-sign to get you there. Got your Super Bowl, so you should be, appreciative of that. But we've seen, like, everyone's like, are you surprised at anything that I said, man's had a blonde mustache. Let us not forget this.
And frozen feet.
I was like, that is enough to show you. Wasn't he fart in front of the dark doctor's face when he was getting like worked out? That I was like, come on, man. Man's just got issues. So I'm just happy that he's not here. I mean, the last time we played you guys, you had Godwin, you had AB. The fact that those guys aren't in the mix, I know you have other talents there, but they're not AB and Godwin. So to us, that's a godsend.
Yeah, no one's AB. The Bucs are undefeated with him on the field this year. Like, they're 6-0, and Ruth nailed it. Like, AB, take everything off the side, which you can't because they did it with Terrell Owens, is a top 5 wide receiver and should be a first ballot Hall of Famer, period, end of story. I mean, top 5 wide receiver ever. Like, he's that good. His numbers are that good. Look at his numbers in Pittsburgh. Like, you don't really remember how productive he was. But he's Looney Tunes, man. He's just crazy. He can't help himself. And he's not there, and that's it. End of story. I'm also with Bruce. Like, I am exhausted about talking and worrying about this. It's been going on for 2 weeks now.
What really got me was when he had the nerve to talk about Rob Gronkowski and the money that he makes. Like, oh, why am I on a prove-it contract when Rob is getting guaranteed money? How dare you even put your name in the same conversation as Rob Gronkowski? I'm sorry, that's where he completely lost me.
Yeah.
His arguments are just like that of a child. Like, everyone knows why. It's because Ron Gronkowski has had a first ballot Hall of Fame career and hasn't, not paid his chef and hasn't beat up the moving driver and hasn't threatened to beat up his GM and got kicked off the Raiders and hasn't, had a sexual assault with his massage therapist. And that's why, that's why. And he just wants to look at the production and just, end the argument at that. It's like watching MSNBC or Fox News. Like, it's like, no, you need to tell the whole story, guys. So anyway, yes, I'm sorry. He's such a rabbit hole, man. Like, I don't want to talk about him. Here I am 10 minutes later, and then and this and then this and then this. So
I want to know your gentlemen's real quick after we wrap this up AB conversation. Do you think this is going to hurt his chances on being considered as a first ballot Hall of Famer in the future?
I think there's potential there. There's always a beat writer or a voter who feels a certain way. I think he did put up numbers, man. He was very consistent early on in his career, but I just do think everywhere he's went, he's left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. I mean, T.O. had that kind of effect on some folks. He bounced around from team to team. He did make the Hall of Fame, but it's just like it might take a little time. I mean, I just think he's just going off the rails, though.
Yeah. It'll take time for sure, in my opinion, because those writers in there, it's like an unwritten rule where they kind of protect the shield. And Antonio Brown's behavior, you can't put him in as a first ballot because then that's sort of like just validating his antics. So if he gets in at all, he's going to have to wait. I think there's going to be like a 10-year cap on it, honestly, if he gets in at all, because, the things... Everything he's done hasn't been off the field. We just saw what happened in wherever the hell we were playing.
The Jets.
In New York. Like that. Like, what was that? Like, what was that? He was on the field. Like, it should have been a penalty with 12 men on the field.
I thought he was a streaker.
He was on the field, naked, waving, like throwing stuff in the stands while the game was going on. Like, plays were being run, and he's in the end zone. Like, it's just, it's just he just
Real
Looney
quick
Tunes.
though, if you wanted to quit a job, that would be a way to quit a job.
Sure.
No, you put your 2 weeks in just like everybody else.
He did like the half baked scene. He was like, F you, you cool, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a big segment of there was a lot of AB supporters early on, and a lot of people backed the injury as far as like Buccaneers Twitter went. People were saying that like people were going after Bruce Arians, not a large percent, but were blaming Bruce Arians and was behind Antonio Brown, that he wanted about the ankle injury, that Antonio told me he was hurt, and Bruce said, well, then you're cut. And then, and he was trying to protect himself. But his story has changed like 4 times. And I think today he came out and said it probably wasn't, the most professional or right thing to do about what he did. Like, well, that's about the only thing you've said since you've been cut that I agree with. And it's just one of those things where you hear all these things, especially, coming from the source of Antonio Brown. You just got to wait, because he cannot keep his mouth shut. And he will, the truth will come out. You can't make your judgment like an hour after that game or even 2 days after that game about what's being said on both sides. And, it was just, yeah. He's just, again, he's a bag of monkey dicks. He's fucking weird.
Yeah, I feel like he definitely handled it wrong. Like, he could have just walked off the field, you know what I'm saying? And everybody worried about the ankle or whatnot and did it more professional. But I do feel like there is probably some truth to why he did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because why else would a grown man really
He got
make that big of
mad
a
that
spectrum?
he got mad that he wasn't the main target, and he thought the Buccaneers were trying to, I guess, stop him from gaining those incentives, because he was 281 yards short, 2 touchdown passes, and 11 receptions away from making almost $1 million accumulated between those 3. So I think he got mad that Mike Evans was targeted more, that Rob was getting targeted more, and he was just being upset and being a crybaby and thinking about himself. I honestly think that's what happened. It's the only thing that really makes sense, because this whole Bruce Arians knew I was injured and told me I, was off the team because I didn't want to go back in the game. Like, I don't know. That just sounds like a whole bunch of hubbub, but that's just my opinion.
Now, a question for you guys. I mean, now that AB's out of the offense, and we're all moving on, what is Tyler Johnson and Rashad Perriman meant to the Bucs roster last couple weeks?
Yeah, well, I mean, Rashad Perriman only plays well in the state of Florida, so that's UCF where he went to, and Tampa Bay. Everywhere else, he's only been a total disaster. So, he was. I actually, when I got so tired when he had his first stint with the Buccaneers with Jameis Winston, I got so tired of telling people to cut this guy because he was doing absolutely nothing. Godwin and Mike Evans were healthy, that I actually wrote on the bottom of my coffee mug, "Cut Perriman." So every time I drink during the podcast, it would just say "Cut Perriman" on the bottom of my coffee mug. Then Godwin and Evans went out. In the last 3 games, he went off for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. And it's like, oh, well, what's this? But then he turned that into a contract with the Jets, and then he moved on to the Lions. And but he couldn't stick with either one. We're talking about the Jets receiving core and the Lions receiving core. And the guy couldn't even stay on the team. So he's back here, and, he's what Bruce Arians like. He's bigger, so he can take some punishment. He can do some blocking in the running game, but he's also fast. So with Tyler Johnson, high hopes coming to him out of Minnesota. I think he's the closest thing that we have to Chris Godwin as far as size, blocking ability on the inside to be able to do that slot receiver. He doesn't separate as well as Chris Godwin, and his contested catches the percentages aren't quite as high as Chris Godwin's, but he comes up with, but he is clutch. He rarely drops a ball. He did drop one on the goal line against New York, but it was one of Brady's 7-yard thrown at 200 miles an hour right at your knees in front of you thing. It would have been a great catch if he caught it. 2 years ago in the Saints playoff game, he had this spinning catch to get a first down, sort of seal the deal. You remember in Green Bay, he picked a big first down late in the fourth quarter, and then it was also that pass interference call that tugged on his undershirt that kind of sealed the game for the Bucs there. And then he kind of disappeared because AB was back. You had Godwin, you had Mike Evans, and so he just sort of disappeared. I think in this playoff run, when you're talking about Perryman, Scotty Miller, who's, everyone thought he was going to be Brady's, favorite target because he's tiny and he's white. And Perryman, Johnson, and Tyler Johnson and Scotty Miller, I think when this playoff run is done, and I think it's going to be at least 2 games, sorry guys, that Tyler Johnson, Buck fans will be excited about Tyler Johnson. I think of those 3 guys, he's going to make the most consistent and overall biggest impact in these next couple of games coming up.
And to piggyback back off of that, I think Johnson really excelled in the postseason for the Buccaneers last season. So he's obviously able to play under pressure, and he came up big for us in the NFC Championship game against the Green Bay Packers. So I have high hopes for Tyler Johnson, and Scotty Miller is fast as fuck, boy. He's able to excel as well in that offense, and I'm glad that he is coming back healthy, and he looked great against the Carolina Panthers. So I really don't think the Bucs. Obviously, AB is a talent that you can't replace, but I don't think the Bucs are in trouble just yet.
Yeah, Tyler Johnson is a day 3 guy that I was looking at heavily, and the fact that he's flourishing, I'm like, that's everything that I saw in his game prior, during draft season. I think that dude's he's a crafty dude. So
yeah. That's always bittersweet, isn't it? It's like you feel good because, like, your late round day 2 or early day 3 draft prospect is panning out, but he's not on your team. You're always like, yes, I knew it.
It is. I'm weird because that's why I wanted to ask you just how to make me feel better about myself. I don't know.
Sure. To be honest, to wrap it up, sort of like his career so far, I thought he'd be a bigger part of the offense thus far. I really did. I thought, when like Mike's missed a game and there's been receivers that miss games, I thought the next man up would be Tyler Johnson. And at first it was Scotty Miller, and then it kind of became Perryman. And I was just scratching my head. Perryman been in camp like 10 days, and he's out there playing. I think Tyler Johnson had like 8 snaps, and Perryman had like 52. And I'm like, what is going on? It's sort of balanced out since then. I think it's a nice sort of 2 players to fill in for 1 player, even though I think both them combined will never be Antonio Brown. But I think that's sort of how they're approaching it with their sort of slightly different skill sets.
Gotcha. So my question is to you guys, Buck fans, with, I think, was it Shaq Barrett, his knee, I think he has like a slight tear in his knee. How do you feel comfortable with that? Then on top of that, with Fournette, I think he had an ankle and a hamstring, along with Mike Evans. I mean, I know we're in the postseason. Health is wealth, right? In the NFL, like if you're a healthy team, you can be on there and you're going to go as far as you can go. But how do you feel with all these injuries? And they're coming back, so they're going to be a little slow, and they're not going to be 100%.
Ruth,
You muted.
you muted yourself.
Sorry, I keep doing that. I think it's just because my neighbor's dog keeps barking, so I don't want you guys to hear that in the background. It's never a good thing when it comes to knee injuries with these football players, because it's very crucial for them to be able to make these quick cuts, and having your joints messed up is not the way to go. And I do expect Shaquille Barrett not to be himself on this first post game, but I'm hoping with the weeks as they develop, and because sorry guys, but I think we're going to be able to win this wild card matchup this weekend. I think as time progresses and as more time, I think he'll get more comfortable with that knee, and hopefully it doesn't get any worse. But I'm not too worried about it just yet.
And then along with JPP, he has a shoulder injury, right? He basically has a torn rotator, and he's been in and out of the lineup all year as well. So you guys are pretty banged up. You guys are pretty banged up.
Yeah, not to put a fine point on it, but JPP is kind of useless and has been most of this year since he tore his rotator cuff. Now he's in there. He's a warrior. He can really help out moving on the inside on obvious pass rushing downs to be able for Joe Tryon, the rookie, to stay outside. He does set the edge better in the run game, especially the backside edge. If you notice, I know you guys didn't. Why would you guys watch the Carolina Bucks game? But there was a few cutback runs that got some big yardage. If Shaq or JPP were in there, I don't think that would have happened. We're using like an RFDA Cam Gill and then Anthony Nelson, a 4th rounder from 3 years ago, who's actually had a pretty good year. So having those guys in there will help the edges on the run game. Jordan Whitehead coming up as a strong safety in the box is probably, in my opinion, one of the best guys that sets the edge from the safety position. That's about what he does best. He has greatly improved in coverage, but coming from when you couldn't cover anybody at all, that's still not like tier 1, maybe bottom tier 2 coverage ability there. So JPP is going to gut it out because he does. That's what he does. You know, the guy has. Everyone knows he's missing most of his hand, and one of his hands. He broke his neck. He played with a broken neck. You know, and his first play back, he got a sack. I mean, the guy, but he's not JPP of even last year. He's really like as far as pass rushing, because he can't get that shoulder up. He doesn't have the power in the arm. So basically he's out there trying to rush the passer with one arm against, left tackles, which is their job, is to stop the best 32 pass rushers that were walking the face of the earth. So don't expect a big impact game. I like him there. I think his snap count will be reduced, and he might even do like a less than a 50-50 with Joe Tryon-Sharinka. I talked about the rookie, number 9. But Shaq Barrett, very excited to have him back. Some things that a lot of people don't see or talk about with Shaq Barrett is he makes a lot of plays downfield. He's always chasing the ball. So if they throw like a quick outlet to try to get it on your playmakers on the edge, quickly on the defense, maybe break a tackle, pull a guard out there and set up a little smoke screen for your wide receiver or a tight end or wherever your best playmaker is. Shaq Barrett will make the play 7 yards downfield from the opposite side. That's something that a lot of people don't talk about his game, but he's always hustling. And it's a strain ACL, if I'm correct, and I think a torn PCL, which really isn't that big a deal as far as holding the knee together and structurally. But yeah, it's sore and it's banged up, and of course I'd rather have both his knees at 2,000%. But I'd rather have him out there with what he is now and give what he can give in this game than not have him out there, because he's better than Cam Gill and Anthony Nelson combined.
Yeah.
I had a quick question. Vita Vea, a guy who's earned himself some money. I mean, the 40 mil plus 40 something guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
The thing
I think there's a tooth out there in FedEx Field too, besides ripped seats. He left it out there. He said
really?
Yeah, he said there was a comment. He's like, like someday it'll pop up. Somebody will get tackled and look down and be like, "Oh, look, here's a tooth." Like it's just laying out there somewhere.
It's probably at the bottom of somebody's cleat by now.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
No, Jason Kelsey, for us is all world. Like he's multi-talented center. Like he's, but his arch nemesis could be, the bigger bodied nose tackles such as Vita Vea. So I feel like, do you think, how do the Eagles slow down Vea? Like,
Is that even possible?
Yeah. I'll go ahead and take this one first, Ruth, you don't mind.
Go ahead.
It's what a lot of teams did to the Bucs early in the season. Like the Bucs' run defense was so good it had the reputation of being so good. Teams wouldn't even run against them. So again, they'd get the ball out quickly to the perimeter, lots of slants, digs across the middle, quick outs, 7 5-yard routes. So even if Vita Vea beats his man, or anybody for that matter, beats their man cleanly, the ball's still coming out before the guy can get there. Pass rushing wise, he's like a human forklift. He'll just get underneath your shoulder pads and pick you up and lay you right in the quarterback's lap. So Hurts is going to have to be able to slide back and forth, be looking for it, and not be afraid to run the ball. Vita Vea is, yes, for a big, huge, ginormous, fat nose guard, he can get some sacks for you. But really what it is eating up the double teams on the inside so the guard can't get to the second level, letting Levante David and Devin White run free to make the tackle in the run game. I saw his rookie year, Vita Vea, it was Tennessee, and he stood up the center, and he, with his free arm, he grabbed the guard and pulled him in, and then Derrick Henry came running by him, and he opened up his arm and grabbed him and sort of squeeze all three of them together, and they just sort of like, yeah, I know, it's freaking crazy. And he didn't knock him. They just blew the whistle dead because no one was going anywhere. Now, there's only been about 7 guys that have put up 50 reps at the combine of 225. Vita Vea is one of them. He actually didn't get the most his year because Quentin Nelson, the all-world guard for the Colts, was there. Quentin Nelson put up 57. Vita Vea put up 56, and I think the record's 59. So the guy, he still doesn't understand how strong he is. Like, he is superhero freakishly strong. And he's pretty athletic, too.
He just has some trouble taking off his jersey.
I really think we're going to match up well because our offensive line is nasty, too. We got a lot of
guys. How do you think the matchup changes this time around now that we run the ball and we're a different team? We're not the same team. We didn't really run the ball against you guys the first time around. We got some different players back there. In terms of Jalen's more developed now. And then I think Landon Dickerson, I've seen someone put it in the chat, he's going to be playing as well. He's doing pretty good at that left guard spot. And him and Mailata became a nice little tandem on that left side of the field. So do you think that will affect the game at all?
Lane Johnson.
I think it's I think it's a really good matchup, but I think what we saw a lot in week 6 is Jalen escaping the pocket and rolling out, and that's when he was hurting us the most. So I really think that Jalen's probably going to go with the same kind of format that he did in week 6 because it was a pretty good matchup between these two, the defensive line as well as their O-line. So I'm expecting to see the same type of chemistry going into this week.
I'm not going to make a prediction because it's strength against strength. Sue's having his best year in like 3 years. Will Golston's very unrated at the other 3-tech/5 tech spot. Joe Tryon-Sharinka, I think he's playing extremely well for the amount of snaps that he's getting, the rookie. Of course, Shaq Barrett's coming back. You got JPP. I don't expect much out of him. But it's strength against strength. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some on both sides. I would be very surprised if this game is won or lost in the trenches with on either side of the ball, really. I know we haven't got to the Bucs line and the Eagles defensive line. I think that's another strength against strength. So I'm not saying that I don't think Philly's going to be able to run the ball or they're not going to run the ball or, that you can't run the ball because I have been saying on the podcast for 6 weeks now, if you dedicate yourself to the run, you can run on this Buccaneers defense. The problem is when you do that, you can't score 30 points. And if you don't score 30 points, you can't beat the Bucs. So it's sort of, you got to kind of of course there's outliers. Go ahead.
I think all of our wins this year have been over 30 points, right? We pretty much had to hit that 30 mark to win the game for the most part. So
yeah. No. So that's the way I see it. It's going to be real fun to watch. I'll tell you that. Like that's the thing I'm most excited about. It's not DBs against receivers. It's not safeties against slot guys or schemes. Trying to divide them up or single high, double high, zone, man, whatever. Too deep with man mesh underneath. It's none of that. I'm going to be watching the big uglies, if Keith Jackson used to say. I think that's really where the entertainment in this ball game is going to be at on both sides, on both teams, whoever's on the field. Smash
mouth football, and also the weather. I was looking at the weather and I was like, I'm gonna have to change my outfits here. I'm like, it might rain out here, so anything, like I thought I was gonna wear. Like, does that affect the game? One of the tough running Eagles offense. And we're used to running the football. I'm wondering if we're going to try and bring out some trickery. But as a Bucs offense, do you think that affects what they do passing the ball?
It's always difficult to have some accuracy when it comes to wet footballs. So obviously that would be a challenge. But, with Tom Brady at the helm, I don't expect it to be a huge issue. I actually didn't even check the weather. I wasn't aware that it was supposed to rain this coming weekend, which might kind of change my mind of what I'm going to wear to the game. But I don't think it will be an issue. If anything, I might think it'll be a little bit more of an issue when it comes to Jalen Hurts and his ability to get the ball down the field with those deep passes, and we'll be seeing him lean on the run game a lot more.
I have lived in Florida my whole life. I've been in the Tampa St. Pete area since I was 9. The one thing I can tell you for sure is that you cannot tell me what the weather's going to be like on Sunday on a Wednesday. Period. End of story. Like the weather, you don't like the weather in Florida? Come back in a half hour because it'll be different. So I understand what you're saying. It's a nice talking point. Like if it's going to rain and it's going to supposed to be like wind gusts at 20 miles an hour, I thought I saw. Is that going to affect the passing game? Is that going to play in the Eagles' hands because they're better at running the ball and it's raining, so they're not going to throw as much? But then if the Bucs know that, they can put more, allocate more assets to stopping the run game because they're not going to pass. I just can't. I really don't want to get in that conversation because honestly, I give it about a 10% chance it's true.
Yeah, it'll rain. It'll rain like any time of day in Florida. Like last time I went to Tampa, it was for my cousin's wedding, and I got stuck in Tampa for an extra 5 days from lightning storms. That's why this is why I'm driving to Tampa this time. I was like, I'm not getting stuck in Tampa again. So I mean, the weather played a factor last time I was in Tampa. So.
Yeah, squalls will come off the bay, and you swear to God your house is going to blow down, and then 15 minutes later, there's not a cloud in the sky, and it's like 80 degrees. That's just the way it is.
And I wouldn't want it any other way.
So how do you guys feel? I want to know, why don't you guys use Jones at all? What's your deal on that one? Jones.
I think it comes down to trust when it comes to Ronald Jones, because he's been put in some predicaments where we wanted him to excel, and he's been a disappointment. And we've seen some frustration from Tom Brady, even speaking of Ronald Jones. So I think he still has a lot of work when it comes to developing his game and just being on top of the offense. And I think with more time, I think Ronald Jones will be that second down back that we really need. But until he proves himself, I'm not mad at Bruce Arians when he sits him down.
Yeah, she's right with the trust issue. And to sort of expand on that is he can't pass block. They've been trying to get this guy to pass block for 3 years. And if you can't pass pro, especially with Tom Brady, your quarterback, you're not going to be in there. That's why Giovanni Bernard was such a great pickup. And then and then Leonard Fournette became a much better pass protector. So then he got played exclusively because he could actually catch the ball in the backfield, something that Ronald Jones struggles with as well. So when Fournette went down, they had to go find a guy who could pass protect and catch the ball. And they went and got 87-year-old Le'Veon Bell, who takes the ball and falls forward for 2 yards. But you know what? He's not going to let Tom Brady get sacked. Now, this is an Eagles podcast, so I think I can say this and probably get away with it. Ronald Jones is dumb. That's it. He just is. I have numerous things I can point to. I don't want to get into them all. The guy just doesn't have it mentally upstairs to be a 3-down back in the NFL.
I mean, being that third down back, the ability to block is imperative. So I feel like if a guy like Brady, who makes his money in the pocket, if you can't live to his standard, then you're not going to be on the field. So I feel like.
If you're going to get Brady hurt, you ain't playing. I don't care if you're a guard, center. I don't care if you're the popcorn vendor. They ain't letting you in the stadium. If you can't keep Tom Brady safe and upright, like, you're not. I'm shocked he's kind of still on the team. Actually, no, I'm not. They have high hopes for him. He's learning. He's trying to do his best. He's not going to do it because he's dumb.
One thing I noticed that I was interested that Fournette was like with the 5th leading receiver out of the Bucs offense in yards.
Yeah, I mean, there was a game this season. It's kind of slipping me right now what game it was, but Leonard Fournette he had the most passing yards out of all the wide receivers. He had the most targets from Tom Brady. So it's awesome to see him get involved that way and have such a dynamic game. And I know a lot of people weren't on board with the Leonard Fournette, but I really think that he's gotten to the point where we can call him regular season Lenny.
He gets so many targets, it's nauseating for Bucs fans because that takes away targets from Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. So, like, when it's halfway through the second quarter and we're losing 10-7 and Leonard Fournette's making his 7th catch, we're pulling our hair out. We end up winning the game, at the end, but he's kind of become Brady's James White. It's a lot of quarterbacks in the league, their emergency guy, their dump-off guy is a tight end. Well, you got Gronk, so Gronk is just a ginormous wide receiver, that you have to tackle from below the knees or you can't bring him down. So he's out running the seam and running 15-yard posts and things like that. So the safety net has always been the running back for Tom Brady. And when Leonard Fournette, of course, picked up his pass pro and started catching the ball back as he did his last year at Jacksonville, where he had like 70 catches, he just became the third down guy, and there was no room for Ronald Jones. And I kind of expect that to pick up. So, you know, at the start of the game, if Leonard Fournette has 7 touches the first 14 plays, do not be shocked, because that's just the way it goes when he's in the game.
Yeah, last time he picked us apart playing catch with Tom Brady, you know, 5 yards down the field, you know, one-on-one with Singleton, and he just kept winning that matchup over and over and over again.
Yeah, OJ Howard was he?
No, it was OJ Howard.
Yeah.
Huh?
Like, OJ Howard.
Yeah, OJ Howard killed him.
Yeah.
That's about the only game OJ showed up in. He's a guy we had high hopes for. No, he just can't get on the field. And, you know, it's really an embarrassment of riches here. Like, the Bucs have been decimated by injuries. They have a 13-4 record is remarkable. Look at the Ravens. Look what they did in their injuries. Like, look what happened to San Francisco in their injuries. Like, our starting, you know, back five have not been together, I think, like not even a full game all year. We talked about...
Richard Sherman on the IR now?
Again, for the second time. Richard Sherman has played a total of 4.5 quarters for the Buccaneers since he's been signed. He's been in the IR twice. Now he's done for the year. He's coaching now. That's what he is. And we wouldn't got him because of the huge rash of injuries in the secondary. Everyone's missed multiple games back there. Some guys have missed half the year. JPP's missed time. Shaq Barrett's missed time. Lante David's missed time. You know, Evans has missed time. Godwin has missed time. Antonio Brown missed 10 games. Yeah. You know, injury and then the 3-game suspension. Like, it's mind-boggling that this team is 13-4. But if Gronk goes down, there's OJ Howard, a first-round draft pick that just can't. It's not that he can't figure it out. They just don't give him the ball. And then behind him is Cameron Brate, who, by the way, from 16 to 18, was tied with every tight end for the most touchdowns over that span of time, and he can't get the ball. And then you got Tyler Johnson, you know, who everyone loves coming out of college. He can't get on the field. And then you got Scotty Miller, who's like one of the best deep ball threats in the game. He can't get on the field.
So do you think that's Brian Leftwich, or the substitution of what's going on?
It's just there's guys better that are in front of him. That's all. I mean, who are you going to take off? Who are you going to take off the field to put on Tyler Johnson? Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Gronk, Fournette? Who are you going to take off?
Right.
That's the list.
You know?
It's good. Well, just have a lot of free
everybody
agents.
did the NBA with the NFL and wanted to go with Tampa Bay because Tom Brady. Tom Brady was just recruiting everybody. Hey, just come down to Florida with me and we're going to win.
Yeah, right? And he was right.
We all the talk about receivers and no mention of Jalen Darden.
Yeah, so, he can't even get a helmet most weeks.
Yeah. Jalen Darden has been a little bit of a disappointment for me. I think his punt returning ability has subsided ever since the beginning of the season, and he's had difficulty staying on the field as well. So that is somebody who I've been keeping an eye on, and I hope he keeps improving his game as the postseason goes on.
I spent many a night watching. Was it North Texas?
Yeah.
I was like, why am I watching this stuff right now? But I was like, you got to know these guys, and I felt like, another late round guy that they're, trying to figure out.
He'll find a role coming, years to come. I know you didn't watch the game, but maybe you saw the highlight of Scotty Miller's end around that went for like 50 yards for a touchdown late in the game. Well, the guy number 70 who was down the field throwing the block at the 5-yard line was our 3rd-round pick out of Notre Dame, who's grooming to be center behind Ryan Jensen, who's a free agent this year. So, he's had a helmet every week, but he gets special team snaps and jumbo packages and whatever the hell they had out there. I think it was 13 that they had out there for that play. So Darden. Our 2nd-round pick, Kyle Trask, he hasn't even been activated for a game yet, quarterback out of Florida. Our late-round guys, which day 4 was Darden. He was 4th round, day 3. And then we got some special teams guys like Grant Stewart, Mr. Irrelevant, and some thumper who, if it was 1985, KJ Britt would have been drafted day 1, day 2. He's like a big a 255 linebacker that's going to put you in the dirt. But you know what he can't do? He can't cover yet. So these are the guys that they're developing and hoping down the road that will get it. Again, I'm not bragging. It's really freaking hard to make this team, let alone get on the field. It's just hard. Like, these are household names almost every single position up and down the roster.
Now, I have a quick question about the offensive line. I know, like, guys like Ryan Jensen, Ali Marpet, and Tristan Wirfs get a lot of love, but did Donovan get snubbed?
Go ahead, Ruth.
Sorry, I was trying to find the unmute button. Donovan Smith, he has been, I think he's excelled throughout the season. I know last season, during the first couple weeks, everybody was talking about Donovan Smith and how he wasn't able to protect Brady, but I feel like he's upgraded his game a lot more this season, and there hasn't been any complaints. So I'm happy with Donovan Smith's development on that offensive line.
Yeah, he was Tampa Bay's favorite whipping boy for a long time. You know, he didn't play to the echo of the whistle, let alone, you know, he thought he would hear the whistle before it actually would go, so he kind of stopped early on a lot of plays. You know, he needed to, like, somebody needed to surgically implant a camera in his butt and have the feed to his eye so he could see where the quarterback was, because it was just sort of frustrating. He'd have lazy feet and get beat outside and things like that. And and all the coaches, even though he had a few sort of like assistant line coaches, the offensive line coach he had, you know, through most of Jameis's years was a guy named George Warhop. And he kept saying that he can be a top 2-3 tackle in the league. And we're all going, like, prove it. Like, this is year 3. Like prove it. Warhop gets ejected. Bruce Arians comes in. They bring in, oh, God, I can't remember, so I'm sorry. No, Eagles fans don't care anyway who the freaking offensive line coach for the Bucs is. But everyone across the offensive line all their arrows have trended up since they've been here, and nothing has trended up faster or straighter than Donovan Smith. Did he get snubbed for the Pro Bowl at the left tackle? There's an argument for that. But I always believe on the offensive line, it's really hard to break in, but once you're in even when your play starts to decline. So, like, Ali Marpet finally made it as a guard. Ali Marpet's going to have a couple more good years where he deserves to be there, but then he'll be a household name, and there'll be, like, 1 or 2 years where he really doesn't deserve to be here, but he'll stay on because no one knows who the up-and-coming guard is. Donovan Smith has just started playing at a Pro Bowl level this year, the end of last year during the playoffs. So, did he get snubbed? Maybe, but I'm not going to pull off any of those left tackles and put Donovan Smith on the Pro Bowl. I mean, he doesn't. His career is basically, you know, they're polar opposites of each other from what's happened. So, yes, he's trending. Yes, I'm very happy with him. Yes, he's playing a Pro Bowl level. Does he deserve it? No.
Who do you guys think guys are going to keep with all you guys as free agents leaving? You know, you got Godwin, you got Fournette, you got Jones, you got a lot of big-time players. Contracts are up. You think, how many of these guys do you guys see walking away at the end of the season?
I think it's really gonna depend on who excels during this postseason, who's gonna earn their spot. I think Leonard Fournette is gonna probably be a re-sign for the Bucs. Chris Godwin better be a re-sign after he comes back from injury with the numbers that he put up this season. I mean, with all the time that he's been a Buccaneer in a Buccaneers uniform, he's been great for the team. But I would really hate to be Jason Light at this point in time.
I think Godwin's a no-brainer. I think he's priority number 1. You know, it was nice to see. We talked a little bit about Villa. We didn't really, you know, finish up the question, but he just got, you know, $78 million with $42 million guaranteed. Ryan Jensen, the center, I would like to see him back, but we got Hainsey in the hopper I just talked about. I think Carlton Davis, who is grossly underrated. He's whatever you put in your top tier of corners in the NFL, Carlton Davis is right there. I'm telling you, I've been watching this guy since he's been drafted. He's done nothing but better. It started last year and he's continued into this year. He's a free agent. He's going to cost like 18, 19 million. Godwin's going to cost like 18, 19 million. If Jensen comes back, he's going to cost like 16, 17 million. Shaq Barrett's tied up. JPP's going to be gone. Will Golston, the guy I talked about, the other opposite of Sue with Vay in between them, He's going to be a free agent. He's not going to cost anywhere near that, but he wants to finish his career there. You might get a hometown discount. I think he's coming back. Evans is locked up. I think that's really it. Gronk. If Gronk wants to come back, I think they'll do everything in their power to bring him back. So the only guy I can really see that they're going to let walk is probably going to be JPP, and I'm trying to think anybody in the backfield in the secondary. I mean, they're all still on rookie contracts except for Carlton Davis will be the first one off.
Man, I was
Probably
mad
Jones,
when God.
since you guys said he's probably not.
Ronald Jones. That's so 50. I think it all depends on Leonard Fournette. I think I forgot him. I think Ruth is right. I think Leonard Fournette. Even though Jones is a more talented runner, I really believe that. Vision, speed, even power, he's better, and it's just by the eye test you can see it. But again, he can't catch that well. His pass protection is terrible, and Leonard Fournette, I think, is I'm going to switch it up, more intelligent, high IQ football, and he's earned it. So if they get Fournette, then Jones may be gone. He might want to test, I think if you held a gun in my head, I would say Ronald Jones is probably gone next year.
Yeah, I was mad when Godwin got hurt. I was like, that was like a guy, like, he's from Delaware. I know his girl, her father was like a huge coach in Delaware in high school football. Yeah. So I'm like, right down, like 20, 30 minutes from the stadium. Like, you're from
high
the
school
area.
Sweethearts.
Bring him back.
She can outlift him.
Yeah, I mean, she's
she's a boss lady for sure. Yeah. I think it's really unfortunate that Chris Godwin went down, being on the franchise tag. But with the productivity that he had on the offensive side of the ball, I really don't see the Bucs not wanting to sign Chris Godwin. Obviously, they want to keep him, but it's going to come down to the amount of the bag, because I think every 31 other teams in the NFL know what Chris Godwin brings to the table, and if someone's going to overpay, I could see Godwin leaving.
Godwin's not going anywhere.
Y'all can't pay everybody.
Yeah, that's what
you said. That's what you said last year. That's what you said last year.
That's what they said last year, and they brought all 22 starters back.
So no Jones, no Jones, no Jensen, no JPP. There's your three not pay anybody.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. The way y'all franchise tagged him, that he got hurt, I guarantee he's gonna be gone.
No, he's not. If he leaves, they'll franchise tag him again. He's not going anywhere.
It's going to be like 20-something, 30 million?
It doesn't matter. He's not going anywhere.
Write
it. Put it down in pen.
But you got to think, all these big price tag players, man. I know the salary cap's going up, but you got to look at the draft. You got to look at a lot of other free agents, getting some other free agents at certain positions. You think they're going to just try to re-keep the same team over and over again?
I'll be trying to Wu-Tang this thing.
They're trying to keep the guys. This is Jason Light, and he said it since he got here. He goes, draft good players, re-sign your guys. That's how he approaches free agency. Chris Godwin is his guy. Will Golston is his guy. Like, Chris Godwin's not going anywhere. I'm telling you, I don't. They'll franchise tag if it comes worse to worse. I think Godwin is going to sign a deal with the Bucs. I think they're going to be fair with him. They've been fair with everybody. They figure it out. They have one of the best front offices as far as structuring contracts and keeping team out of dead money that I've seen. They just know what they're doing. Chris Godwin is not going. He's priority number one. He's like a franchise quarterback to this team. Yeah. He's not going anywhere.
Okay. We gotta write this one down. Right there.
Yeah, write it down.
I'm gonna tell you something right now.
I'll let you spit on me.
No, we'll have this as a soundbite. Wait, what? Spitting? What is going on here?
I said I'll let you spit on me.
Wow.
Like if I'm wrong, you can like hawk a loot. Like keep it below the neck though. No. Like I'm just saying.
No.
I'm telling you, he's not going anywhere.
I know I talked to both of you guys early in the season. What is your take? What do you guys take on Jalen Hurts right now?
I kind of find Jalen Hurts a little bit selfish as that quarterback, because he will take advantage of the run game to get into the red zone, and once he's on the 1 yard line, he's running it in for a touchdown. You guys had a running back, his name's slipping me at the moment, but he had over like 745 yards from the line of scrimmage with no touchdowns.
Oh yeah, Miles Sanders.
With no touchdown. So it's like he does all that work to get you guys to the red zone, and then Jalen Hurts is like, oh, this is for my fantasy, let's go. And it's kind of, I find it kind of selfish. But is he a good quarterback? Absolutely. Is he the franchise future for the Eagles? I don't know. Y'all tell me.
It's funny because Sanders and Hurts, they became the first teammates in NFL history to average 5.5 yards per carry on at least 135 carries in the same season. I mean, people like fantasy guys have like talked about that whole you're stealing the touchdowns,
Right.
or you're affecting his growth. But I mean, the way that Jalen Hurts is built, like we all know, he put up 1,300 yards rushing. Like that's part of his game. So it's like for a lot of people, like to remove that from his game, that's part of his game. So it is what it is. You know, I would love to see a touchdown from Miles Sanders because that's a sad stat.
Yeah, give the man the block, the rock.
To piggyback off you, man, I would love to see Miles because last week against the Cowboys, like wasn't it Jason Huntley and Boston Scott like got touchdowns, and Boston Scott's been getting mad touchdowns ever since Miles went out. So I would please, guys, if Eagles, I know y'all watching this, give Miles the ball in the red zone, please. I need my man to get a touchdown, please.
Yeah, I think he needs to get it, but he just gotta, he came close a lot of times. Just, I don't think it's a selfish thing with Jalen. I just think it's the smartest play to get the touchdown out of the way. Like you're on the 1 yard line, you want a quarterback sneaking when you got a quarterback, that's that strong and I can move it in there. I don't think it's more of a thing like he's like, I need this touchdown. Because we've seen a lot of times in the red zone where you see a guy like Kenny Gainwell not even get the ball most of the whole game, but he'll come in and get that touchdown. Just because it's his number that being called.
I mean, the funny thing is Jalen's got 10 rushing TDs.
Yeah,
Howard's got 3. Boston Scott has 7, and then Kenneth Gainwell has 5. So everybody's eating.
Yeah, I don't watch enough Eagles football. I mean, to speak intelligently on hers. I liked him in college. I think he's a first class dude. I think he's got the right temperament. Again, it kind of comes down to, does he have the arm talent to be able to be a franchise guy and take a team to a Super Bowl? Because it's really hard to win a Super Bowl without a tier 1 quarterback. I mean, it's been done. Like Ravens did it with Dilfer and I had another one. Anyway, there's been a few, but exactly. So look at him. It's like Roethlisberger, it's Manning, it's Brady, it's Russell Wilson. It's like you have to have that tier 1 guy. You don't have to, but it makes it a lot easier to get there. So I mean, you guys would know better than me. That was the only thing that I think he has everything that he needs to be able to lead a franchise for many years. To be kind of that guy that's there for 15, 20 years. I just don't know if he has sort of like if he has the arm talent, and most of that stems back to the Alabama game where they couldn't run the ball against Georgia, so they put in Tua, and because Hurts couldn't throw it as well. So, I mean, I really don't know. But that's all. That's what I got for you.
Well, as an Eagle fan and watching them for the past past month in December, we're undefeated in December. He has progressed and he has gotten way better throwing the ball.
Good.
And scanning the field. Beginning of the season, he only could scan one half of the field.
Right.
Now I see him reading through his progressions, and on top of that, I think the Eagles are probably offensive line is probably top 3 when it comes to passing. One of the best block passing. You know how hard that is.
Yeah.
And then also, you think about it, we were doing the zone. We were doing the zone reads, and we were doing the RPOs and stuff like that. It was basically what was going on was it was either where he wouldn't get rid. He would try to keep the ball and run with it, or we had too many. We had a legal man down the field, even if that. Let's not even count that. Let's count his numbers. How many touchdowns have been brought back this past year? He should be up in probably what would you say, Gail? 20, 27, 30?
He's probably had about 5 or 6 touchdowns called back.
Like 6 or 7
easily
called back. So he should have way more touchdowns than he has now. The Niner game, we had 2 called back. I don't know if you guys remember that. Like it's crazy.
I know we got Ruth. We got another show to get to, but I why don't you, before you get out of here, go ahead and drop our your score prediction, and we'll let you
All
get
right.
out of here, get to your show.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys having me on. Eagles Nation, good luck this weekend. It'll be a pretty good game. My score prediction, I think Tom Brady's going to throw for 3 touchdowns. Leonard Fournette's going to get a rushing TD. So I would say it's going to be like 31-24 at the end of the game. Bucks win.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see how that works out. We'll definitely see how that works out. That's for sure. Well, yeah, go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you out, where you get out of here. Hey, shout out to the 31 in here. Make sure you like and comment and subscribe to all these guys' platforms.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter, Ruth The Truth with 3 H's at the end. Don't forget the triple H. For Instagram, it's Ruth_the_truth with the number 1. And I'll give you guys a follow back, and make sure to subscribe to the NSPN YouTube channel as well, and stay locked into all Buck Sports.
All right.
Thanks so much, guys. Have a great night.
Have a good night.
Hold it down for me.
You got it.
But yeah, Jalen's definitely done his thing. Like I tell everybody, the legend of Jalen really starts this Sunday. You know, if he can go in there and knock off the champions, you know, play a better game than Brady, you know, that'll be big time. You know, for your first playoff game, 23 years old. I think
that would be big time.
Quarterback, you know, that we have on here in our platform. So that'd be good.
No, I think Jalen Hurts' development, like you know, we've started to see that, you know, the happy feet, the heel click, you know, it's a matter of him not falling apart between the second and third read. You know, we know 1 to 2 he's good. You know, his QB coach is Quincy Avery was talking about, you know, that progression of getting to 2 to 3 that we've seen as of late. And I just think you know, right now he has the belief of his team. He's been a great leader in the locker room. You know, the wideouts, everybody, you know, he's developed a really great relationship with you know, Quez Watkins, guys on the back end that have excelled. Like you said, you've seen that off-field relationship develop on the field this year, with Quez going for over 600 yards this year when he was pretty much an afterthought. So I think Jalen Hurts as a leader and you know, a field general, this is it, man. This is put up or shut up. This is I really feel like it's a litmus test for this team as a whole. But as for Jalen as a leader of this football team, this is a perfect opportunity to show that you belong in the conversation here.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And thank God that JJ Thega is not playing this weekend.
Yeah, I'm so happy JJ's not playing. You know, but I like JJ as what he does best. You know, he run blocks, and he does a good job at run blocking. You know, I don't think you should hold up a roster spot when you're a receiver to be a run blocker. But at the same time, if you're in there, you're doing good. You know, we are the number 1 rush and run team in the league, so that obviously accounts for something. You know, got him out there doing his job. So he's not playing this week. We don't have to worry about that. Go ahead and guys, give 3, you know, 3 keys to victory, and then we can get some score petition and get everybody out of here.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Keys to victory for the Buccaneers. This is the way you know if it's going to be a close game or a blowout. Watch Tom Brady's first 5 passes. I don't know why it's this way, but it's been this way ever since he's been in Tampa. If he's 5 for 5 for like 65 yards or more, it's going to be an ugly, ugly day for the other team. If he's like 3 for 5 or 2 for 5 and they only picked up 1 first down and like he short hopped 1 and he got pressure on him early, you got a real serious chance of winning the game, or at least being in it until the fourth quarter. Keys to victory for the Eagles. I mean, you know, run the ball, of course, no turnovers, that type of deal. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. That can be said for both sides. I think for their offense to be able to keep up with the Buccaneers offense, especially if Brady starts out hot, is they're going to have to take their shots, and when they take their shots, they're going to have to convert. My best, if I was advising the Eagles coaching staff, I would say put your fastest guy that you can get in the middle of the field, and get him one-on-one with Devin White, and just keep throwing that and keep throwing at Devin White, because he's really not good in coverage. He goes up and down. Like, he can have, last year in the playoffs, he went from being one of the worst linebackers in coverage to one of the best, and then the season started and he was one of the worst, and he stayed consistent. So who knows what happens, but that's what I would do. I would sort of take my shots down the middle of the field, trying to expose Devin White in coverage. As far as the Bucks, it's mostly defensively. I don't care if the Eagles rush for 200 yards, as long as they don't put it in the end zone, and it's all about time management. So if you can keep the Buccaneers offense off the field by running the ball, I think that's way more important than how many yards you overall gain, or really how many points you score. So I know Philly's going to play a lot of zone. That's what they do. They play too high. That's what they do. They make you earn it, make you go down the field 7 yards at a time. The problem is you're facing TomBrady, who will just he eats zone defenses for breakfast, like, even before breakfast. He puts them in his protein shake. It's going to be real tough struggling for the Eagles defense if they can't get home with their front four. If they get home with their front four and make Brady uncomfortable, especially up the middle, I think it's going to be a really good game. If they can't, I don't think it's going to be a good game for Eagles fans. And the reason I laughed when Ruth gave her score, because that was my score. I think it's going to be 31-24, with the Eagles getting a late touchdown to make the game look closer than it actually is.
All right.
Yeah.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go next. Number one for the Eagles, move TomBrady off the spot. Hit him. Make him uncomfortable. After that, we got to run the ball. You're going to have to run the ball. That's just our bread and butter. Let's stick with it. We've been doing so much right now with running the ball, and that's Jalen's best friend, the running backs. No mistakes. Mental is everything. No mistakes, no penalties. Derek Barnett, I'm talking to you, please. Man, get off. What was it? My man, Stephen A. Smith. Stay off the weed, man. Like something. Defensive wise, like I said, move them off the ball. Let's just make sure that we can create a turnover. And special teams, let's run one back. Jason Huntley, he's going to run one back. He's going to, or Jalen Reagor. I'm saying that in a little bit of confidence, but yes, that's it. That's my piece. Eagles 27, Bucks 24.
Interesting. My keys to victory. I think Eagles have to stick with their identity. Come to Tampa, burn the boats, go in there with the plan to do what you do. Like, it's got you to where you're at right now. At the beginning of the season, the team had no identity. The fans knew it. They implemented the flower power and the growth, and then all of a sudden we've seen the roots start to sprout. So I feel like they've come with an identity. They're dialed in right now. They're most importantly, they're at full strength. They're pretty healthy at this moment. I think it's an opportunity to come in as underdogs. No one's picking the Eagles to win. That's exactly where we want them to be, because we know they flourish. They've beaten TomBrady in the past, and they know when you hit TomBrady early, this has been a recipe for his Super Bowl L's, or when he's gotten hit early. And I don't care if you can hit that man, you hit that man, get him rattled. I think overall, what else? I mean, you're going to have to keep TomBrady off the field, keep this offense off the field. That's the only way for me. You got to win the time of possession. I'm going to go 27-20 Eagles.
Nice. And you got to piggyback on both of you guys, man. I think the Eagles need to go in there fast, start it fast. We haven't really started our games off very fast, and I think we need to change that this game. go attack early. Make them adjust to us as opposed to waiting to halftime to make these key adjustments. We've been kind of doing that all year long, and I think this is the game you guys need to show. Everybody needs to step up and start doing the things that we know they can do. From the beginning of the game to the end of the game. There's a lot of guys that can really, change the narrative on their whole, season. Guys like Quez Watkins, Rager, Jalen Hurts still, Nick Sirianni, all these guys have prime, time for them to adjust and make a show and make a case of why they belong to be on this team and how they can be superstars coming into this league for years to come. I think it's time for Jalen to take that reign, take that next step up, show everybody that he is that leader and he will take us far in this playoff. I don't see the Eagles losing this game. I actually see us winning 35-21. I think, it might be a close game all the way up to about the third quarter. And I think that running attack, that number one running attack is what's going to really separate us, and get that little double-digit win there, because I think once we pound the ball the first three quarters, once that third and fourth quarter come around, the boys will be tired. And we can tire out anybody. We've already went against the best run stuff in defense in the league and the top. I think the other team was like third in the league. So I don't really see anybody in this playoffs really being able to stop that as long as we can stay consistent with it. So I see the Eagles going out there. They can keep the turnovers down, start fast, and, put some points on the board, keep Tom Brady off the field. We should be all right. So, yeah, man. Hey, great show, guys. Go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you guys at, and we can get up out of here.
You can find me at Eagle Sessions or check out 4th and John. I will be coming down to Tampa. Definitely trying to do this thing and see it in person. Yeah, man. Check out 4thandjohn.com. And if you're ever tailgating or want to tailgate or link up or meet up, hit me at Eagle Sessions and we'll get this thing cracking.
Like, yeah.
Now, y'all know what it is. King Fajon. Oh, my bad. No, go ahead.
Me? Okay. Hi, I'm Rendax. The best way to get in touch with me is on Twitter. It's actually at the Petercast, the name of the show. I'm always down to talk Buccaneers football, but if you want to talk about excuse me, let me start over because this is pretty good. All right, best way to contact me is on Twitter at the Petercast. I'm always down to talk Buccaneers football, but if you think your tweet is too hot and you want to put it out there in Twitter sphere, feel free to slide in my DMs and I'll talk Buccaneers football with you there as well too.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't know you were fan-sided there, Ren.
Oh yeah, we're the official podcast of Fansided Network, Buccaneers podcast, Fansided Network. They give us money. That's cool.
We're with Fansided as well, 4th and John.
Oh, you are? All right,
Yeah.
cool. Are you in Slack?
I have to get on that Slack. Carrie is.
Yeah, I want to talk crap to you Sunday, so all the Fansided podcasters can see it.
All right, that's awesome. I'm gonna definitely give you a follow. Just so you say.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, y'all know what it is. It's King Fajon on IG, on Twitter. I am King K. Y'all already know what it is, man. I like and subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? New YouTuber creator, and it's been fun, man. I've been meeting so many people, and you know me. I like to travel. I'm going to Dallas this weekend. I'm repping the Birds, so y'all, and I'm gonna get heckled and everything. But at the end of the day, win or lose, we still fly, baby. Go Birds.
Yes, sir, man. You guys know I am BIRDGANG 31. You can find me on my network, BGN Sports Media. We're growing over there, so if you guys have not subscribed to that, go ahead and get them a subscribe as well. All links are inside the chat. I'm on the road to 2K, so I need about 50 more. So if you guys have not subscribed to my channel as well, go ahead and hit that subscribe. We've grown fast in this first 7 months, put out that good Eagles content. And I just want to thank both of you guys, all you guys, Ruth The Truth, Rex and Gail for coming on our show, Birds Fly South. Much love and respect to all you guys. I love watching all you guys do your thing. And, we're going to see what happens this week. Is the GOAT going to do what he does normally and win these playoff games and take Tampa Bay to another, Super Bowl run? Or is Jalen Hurts going to be that legend that I think he can be and start that whole journey this week against Tampa Bay.
Before we go, I have a funny story. At the beginning of the year of this, I kind of started to line up guests for the pod, and I knew Ruth had got her job with Martin Gramatica. She was also, I think, doing a radio show with him, and I know she was doing her show like Beauty in the Cleats on Facebook. So I reached out to her on Twitter, and I go, and I don't. It was something like, I followed her, and then she followed me back, and then she reached out to me. She goes, "Nice to meet you," and I just wrote thanks, and then she wrote back, "How long have you been an asshole?" And and that's the last I've talked to her. And then all of a sudden we're about ready to go, and she pops up next to me. I'm like, huh. I wonder if she remembers. But it was about 5 months ago. So anyway, I'm glad to see that she doesn't remember or is not mad at me anymore, or held it in. Who knows?
Hey, maybe you get a Christmas card this year.
I will not. I will not get a Christmas card. But seriously, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for not being crazy Eagle fans. Thank you for being level-headed fans and looking at the game and know that both teams have strengths and weaknesses. And anytime you want me on, talk about Buccaneers football, I'll gladly do it. You guys are a lot of fun. You're knowledgeable, and good luck. Seriously, it's we live and die with these teams. It ain't no fun when they lose. So I hope that you don't cry too much.
You just tell Brady not to be crying on that sideline to make sure he shakes Jalen Hurts' hand after the game.
Oh, I got the memes ready.
All right, man. Anyway, yeah, okay. Good luck.
Thank all you guys in the chat, man, for joining us again. Make sure you hit that like on the way out on all networks and all channels. We got the network channel, we got King Fly John channel, and we got BIRDGANG 31 channel. Make sure you guys hit that like and have a great night. We go see what happens this Sunday. And I always say at the end of my videos, fly, Eagles, fly. Till next time, we out. Peace.